All right, here we are. It's Dean and Ann back again. It's been a while, but we're back.
Yes, since we've reviewed something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Hopefully you're enjoying our asshole videos.
Yes.
Yes.
They're the best. All right. So today tonight we're reviewing the first two episodes of the new Star Wars series, The Acolyte.
Yes.
Yes. We just watched it.
Yeah. Yes, we did. We watched the first two episodes. My impression was it grabbed my attention more than previous Star Wars series.
Oh. Like initially grabbed your attention.
Yeah, like okay. Mandalorian was interesting right off the bat for me. Boba Fett was not.
Okay.
Yes.
I can see that.
And I can't remember what else we've watched. He's the Star Wars guru. I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Star Wars since 1978. Yeah, so yeah, it's been a little.
He's got a whole decade on me because I was still a baby in '88. So yeah.
So yeah, okay. So The Acolyte, they released the first two episodes today, and yeah, so we just powered through them both, and yeah, I think I agree with you. I think that I especially the initial crawl. It wasn't a crawl, but it was a little bit of a preamble, I guess. Give us a little idea of where they're at in the timeline. It's 100 years before the events of the Empire.
Yes.
And it kind of gave me a little bit of the sense of like the mystery and the interesting parts about Star Wars that always excited me as a little kid, when I saw it, like, ooh, what's this about, So I thought they did a pretty good job on that.
Agreed.
I know you took a lot of notes, so maybe we can kind of go through and talk about different things.
Yes, yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So we, after this opening scroll where we find out what time we are and everything, we are taken to the location of Ueda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is a planet I've never heard of before. So they're diving into new territory.
This is why I was writing down names of planets, because I'm like, I don't know if it's new, is it old?
Right.
Yes. And here we start off with a bang. We have an interesting looking character come in to a
bar.
Yeah, into a bar with some very cute aliens. I just felt like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I just felt like there's a little more like, they look friendly and cute. Okay.
It seemed to be a peaceful place,
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of ruffians.
No, because there is a Jedi there, and this character. There
was something interesting about this. I'm sorry. So you don't need to be startled, but there's something interesting. They when this mystery character walked into the village, and I think paid a toll, maybe she said, "Where is your Jedi?" And I thought that was really interesting because it's kind of like they're maybe the local sheriffs, like the local magistrate, not magistrates, but
it's true.
There's a Jedi in town, to kind of keep law and order, maybe.
Yeah,
I thought that was interesting.
So the local Jedi is Carrie-Anne Moss.
Yeah,
great to see her in action.
Mm-hmm.
She's a badass.
Yeah, Trinity.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with Trinity.
You can't. Fight ensues. This stranger engages in a battle with her and is able to eventually
through trickery
kill her.
Kill her. Yeah, spoiler alert. Hey.
Yes. One line in the scene that Indara does say before she dies is unidentified Force user, and I feel like that's going to be a great bumper sticker opportunity.
Yeah,
I think
I would love that as a T-shirt. Unidentified Force user.
Yes, yeah. I feel like that could be marketed. I was like, that's a great line. T-shirt, bumper sticker. Yeah.
Okay, I have a couple problems with the scene. All right, I'm only going to interject a few negative bits here and there, but overall, I appreciate the art form as it is. But there's a couple things that were said and done. The first thing is the assassin. Once Carrie-Anne Moss opens her lightsaber up, she says a Jedi doesn't pull her weapon unless she's prepared to kill. This is like a samurai thing, which is not true. It's a myth, but it's also just not consistent with what we know about the Jedi. The Jedi don't kill. That's not what they're trying to do by using the lightsaber. The lightsaber's for defense. So I don't know where she got that idea, but this could be maybe a little bit of a insight into her psychology, thinking that the Jedi are evil. So I don't know where she got the idea, or if it's something that people think about the Jedi at this time. I don't know. It's weird. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. What do you got? I was going to say another thing because I had two things to say about that scene. The kung fu that Carrie-Anne Moss did in the Matrix fit in the Matrix, but it doesn't fit in the Jedi world. And then we see some more kung fu later on in this second episode, I think. It's a nonsensical way to fight, especially for a Jedi. So I have some problems with this. I think it's very flashy and choreographed and silly, but I'll set that aside. I just don't think that Jedi would waste time with posturing and silliness like that. So
I didn't take away any Matrix style dancing.
It was dancing.
I didn't feel like it was Matrix style. I feel like I'd seen them do this kind of fighting in the terrible prequel type movies.
Okay.
With,
like the prequels.
Yes, Attack of the Clones.
Well, the lightsaber fights, especially in the final one, and all the prequels. Actually, the lightsaber fights were just over the top and stupid.
Yeah, and I thought that's kind of what they were going for. I didn't think it was that bad. All right.
Okay.
So she's dead. We
dead,
and we get to see it end with a cute little alien child behind the bar. Yeah. Okay, we are taken to. I wrote down a cargo ship in space.
Yeah.
I don't know where in space they were. Okay.
Yeah.
We see the person who supposedly killed Indara.
Mm-hmm.
She's on the ship. She is now were they saying a mechanic?
A mechanic? Yeah, I haven't heard this term before, but it's a mechanic,
Yeah, I was like, are they just saying mechanic weird?
But the weird thing about this is that there's clearly a distinction between a human mechanic and the astromech droids that normally do that kind of work.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why the humans are out there doing it, but...
Here on this ship, she is arrested by Yord.
A Jedi Knight.
Yes, they have come for her.
And they get her, and they put her on a prison ship, and they haul her off because they have an eyewitness. The guy from the bar eyewitnessed her. That's the one who killed the Jedi, and they take her away, put her on another ship that's piloted by droids.
Yes. Before we get to that prison ship, we do briefly see, I don't know if I can say it right, Coruscant?
Coruscant? Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of moving different times.
Briefly, we get introduced to some major players here, more cute aliens.
The little kids.
Master, would you call him Master? Master Soul?
Master Soul, yeah.
He's teaching a bunch of younglings.
Younglings.
And so we see him in action. Another person comes in, Vernestra.
Oh.
To speak with him.
I got a complaint about this scene. The younglings there's some stolen dialogue from the Luke and Rey training session, and I'm just like, come on, we don't have to keep repeating the same lines.
My argument is this took place 100 years beforehand. So it's just showing the historical language. We see.
Yeah.
We see the past.
The dialogue was written 4 or 5 years later. That's my complaint.
It doesn't matter. It's tying everything together. They always say the Force be with you, and
no one needs anyone to.
Force with you. Okay.
No one needs to have anything tied together. Okay, that's the problem that we've had.
I just think it's records. It's like their teachings are passed down.
Sure, I get it.
Okay, and you just think
but it's not it's the reaction of the student that's the stolen dialogue. Which okay.
All right. Here, Vernestra. What we learn here is that Indara and Soul saved Osha, that's the person who's prisoner,
been arrested,
from a fire on her own planet. And so Soul doesn't believe Osha could commit these crimes. Vernestra's like, I don't know. Well,
We got to follow the procedure.
yeah, she's very procedural.
And she's political, too. She wants this dealt with right away. She wants to make an example, which is, I'm like, what the fuck?
Well,
make an example, okay.
Okay, so that's what we get from that little tidbit of a scene. Where we're taken to the prison ship where Osha is being held. The other, and it's a ship steered by droids.
Yeah, it's a prison ship controlled by a bunch of droids. The pilots are droids. The guard is a droid. But there's other humans on board in different cages. Yeah.
Some of those prisoners have a plan to escape since it is controlled by droids.
Yeah.
They invite Osha to come with, and she says, no, I have trust in the Jedis. They go out, they do the plan.
Yeah.
They escape through one of the pods. She goes and rescues one of the prisoners left behind who has that weird...
face hugger.
Yeah. She gets him out, and he takes the last pod and leaves her there.
Yeah.
The other prisoners did say he's crazy.
Here's a problem with this scene.
We're not going to get through every scene that's a problem.
We can't.
Okay.
We're going to get through as many as we can.
Okay.
All right. So she's struggling to reach the thing that's going to get her out of her cell. She's, it's only been 6 years since she left the Jedi Order, but she can't even do telekinesis to pull it over to her. I'm like, listen, no one's going to stop doing telekinesis. Once you learn how to do some shit, you're not going to give up on that.
I don't agree.
Obi-Wan Kenobi had to forget. He had to lose that power because of necessity. She didn't have that restriction.
I thought it was because she didn't finish her training. She left.
Oh, that's one of the first things they teach.
I thought it was more of like it's an emotional. There's
thing. A barrier between her and the Force.
Yeah, she has to break through that emotion right now. She's controlled by her emotions, and she's not supposed to be.
I got you.
She's a mechanic now.
Yeah, and she still wants revenge or something. She's still angry about her parents. We find out later. But I'm just saying, like,
I don't agree.
Okay, all right.
Okay. You're entitled to your opinion. Okay, she eventually gets to Pip, her little droid, and they crash on the planet of Karlak, which is an ice planet.
Yeah, seems like it.
Yes,
and then she sees a vision of her sister.
Yeah,
as a young girl.
Yes.
Yeah. It seems like we're not sure what this is. This is a vision. Yeah. It seems like there's some mind trickery going on.
I think it's the whole twin connection. If I learned anything from Friends and Lisa Kudrow playing a twin, is that they usually have a connection.
Except, spoiler alert, episode 2, May doesn't know that Oshi's still alive.
Yes.
So it's not May doing this to Osha. I think it's May's master who's playing tricks.
Oh. All right.
Okay.
So we briefly go to Coruscant.
Coruscant.
Okay. We interview the prisoner who left Osha behind. He feels a little guilty about it.
Oh yeah, they round up all the survivors, the escapees. They round them up and they interview the one guy, and he's like, he says that she saved me, and then I abandoned her to a dying ship. Yeah.
Sol wants to go collect Osha himself. Venestra's like, we can't lose you. That's against protocol. But he is allowed to take a team, so he takes Yord,
who's kind of a dick, by the way. The first scene where he comes on board and he immediately starts mind controlling people, just random like some bully asshole cop. Sorry,
very different. I just kind of thought he was like a teen who's still learning. I didn't think he was an asshole. He's trying to flex.
I think when you get to the rank of knight, you should have more common sense than to just immediately start going, tell me everything you know to, innocent bystanders.
Yes. So they take Yord. And then we also take this student, I believe it's Jackie.
Jackie the Padawan. Yes. Yeah, played by...
Daphne Keane, who was the child actor in Logan.
Yeah, the X2 or X1.
Yeah, I can't
remember. What was her character's name?
I didn't write it down. I just wrote down
the kid in Logan, and that kid is awesome.
She is.
This actor is amazing.
Should I say I've enjoyed all the performances so far? Sol is played by the actor who was in Squid Games, which I did not watch, but now I'm intrigued to watch. after watching.
Yeah, we should watch it.
Yeah, we should. A lot of people from lots of great places.
And you're devastated that Carrie Moss is already dead.
I am upset that she died so quickly because I thought, man, we're gonna have a powerhouse show. She's dead.
So maybe
rip the heart out.
Yeah.
Right
well,
away.
maybe we'll get some flashbacks, right?
That is
there's
my
a reason
hope.
why she's on this Kill Bill list.
Yes,
right?
yes. I'm very intrigued. What her sins were. Okay, so we're on Karlak. She's chasing after her sister. The Jedi team has arrived, and they're like, Soul is like, I sense her, and they go chasing after her.
Yeah, before we get to that, though, can I say one more thing about, in this kind of dream sequence thing, there are 2 gasping awake scenes. 2.
Okay, well, yes. The first time she gasped...
Do we need 2 of these?
Well, the first one was she wasn't really awake.
I know.
She gasps awake, she sees the figure, she chases after it, and then we go through the fire.
It's a cliche. It's the exploding car. You're slow motion walking away from the exploding car. Can we stop with this?
How would you have done it?
She doesn't need to gasp. It's basically stealing from Finn. Finn wakes up after crashing on Jakku.
How would you wake up after a crash? She would just be like,
I just wake up like a normal person.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you've ever woken up.
I just don't need to
crash.
see the scene again. Okay.
It didn't bother me. All right. It felt fine.
That's why I'm here.
I don't think
to keep you level-headed.
It's like you were just in a space crash. Everybody assumed she would have been dead, and she survived. And then she sees her sister that she thought was dead, and chases after her through the fire, and then like their home, and then back onto the ice planet, and then she wakes up again because it was all a dream.
Okay.
All right. So Soul saves Osha from falling off a cliff, and tells her, "I believe you."
Yep.
So they're back on the ship. Yes. One thing is, it's not in Osha's file that she has a twin.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that she has a file.
So Soul knows this, but nobody else knows it, including the Jedi.
That's the only thing I thought that was the thing I thought was weird, but maybe there's a reason.
She also doesn't tell Soul once they come together and they're together as a team. She doesn't tell about her vision. She doesn't say, "Hey, I saw May."
I think people
as a little
who
kid
have visions are usually considered crazy.
Okay.
But maybe that's why.
Okay.
But I think it's different in the Jedi world. I think visions are important to share. You're right. She should have shared.
There's a lot going on. Information's being passed back and forth. I think you should share all that information. Yeah.
Then we are briefly taken to a beach where we hear some master talking about.
Oh, the very end.
At the very end, and that's I didn't. All I wrote was Acolyte's kill. I didn't catch what the person said in the voiceover.
Some dark side philosophy being laid down at the end, and a really ominous mechanized voice, and then a red lightsaber at the end. So it's something's cool. Something's cooking.
Something's cool. The episode was only about 37 minutes, so it was a nice, fast-paced episode.
Yeah. So that was the first episode.
It was.
Did we get to the guy with the force field around him in that?
That's in episode 2.
Okay, that comes later. Okay. Shall we move on to episode 2?
All right, episode 2.
Episode 2. I gotta change pages.
So we are on the planet Olega. And we see a local Jedi temple where a young rapscallion kid is trying to get in.
Street urchin.
Street urchin.
Okay, this is a very different community now, right? This is definitely more like scum of villainy and whatever. Mos Eisley,
Yes.
It's a little more crummy.
Or New Jersey.
Sure.
I'm just kidding. Wow. I'm just kidding. I've never been to New Jersey. I just picked a place.
All right. We have
Okay,
subscribers in New Jersey.
We'll edit that out.
Yeah. Anyway, so and also the location. I will talk about it later, but yeah, let's keep going.
Okay, so this kid is able to help who we now know is May break into this temple.
Yes.
And she seeks out Master
Torben,
who is in a protective meditative bubble, is what I called it.
He's floating and meditating, and she tries to punch him, and she hits a invisible force bubble. Yeah.
And no matter what she tries, she cannot penetrate. All right, so she leaves frustrated.
If I had a nickel.
Go ahead. That takes us to I'm calling it the team ship.
Okay.
They're still on Karlak. They haven't left yet. We see Osha with her mechanic powers help the
Padawan.
Yes, with fixing what was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Very minor thing.
Yeah.
Soul and Yard are kind of opposing teams still. Soul
doesn't trust her. He trusts her.
Yeah.
She's
and then Vernestra decides to send them off to Olega.
Vernestra also changes her mind about Osha, right? Based on the new evidence that someone else has tried to kill with the same description. So how could she be in two places at once? Okay, now we're back to logic. Good.
Yes. So we go back to Olega. We see May meeting with oh my gosh, how do
the
you say
little
his name?
Squirrely guy.
Kumir. I don't know. I didn't.
Clemir?
I didn't get.
Is it Clemir?
It's Qimir.
Okay.
She requests a poison, and he
has somehow infiltrated an apothecary. Yeah, exactly that word. A shop full of poison, and he's actually taken over the suit that the guy who owned the place used to. So they must have killed this guy.
Kimir?
I don't know what his name is.
Okay.
Anyways, he cooks up a poison for her so that she can take it back to the Jedi Master.
Because they're trying to please the Master.
When you say Master, you're talking about their Master, who's the evil Master.
The evil master.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know who this person is yet.
Yeah, they both work for this guy. Whoever the evil guy is, the ultimate bad guy. And they're afraid of him, and they want to please him, and they want to do a good job. And they're both bought into the philosophy that the Jedi are evil, and that...
they must pay.
Oh, one of the things that he said at the very end of episode 1 was that the Jedi live in a dream that they think everyone else is into.
Mm.
And so you have to shatter the dream to kill them. Weapons won't work. Yeah. We've only watched it once, so I don't know the whole speech yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The team ship, it makes it to Olega. There's some chit-chat on the ship, but nothing too relevant. Soul does not like Osha's tattoo. All right.
Yep.
And we learned that Soul wanted to save both. Both
the girls, the twins, and couldn't somehow. I'm sure we're going to get a flashback that shows us what happened.
I'm hoping. I'm intrigued. So we're on Olega. May is back with Torben, who has not spoken in 10 years.
Yeah. So the good team goes to the temple, right? So we've got a lot of scenes happening at once, right? So we're kind of drifting back and forth. Right. But I wanted to say that when the head Jedi comes out of the temple, he's like, "Whoa, Coruscant's here!" I didn't think, because this is like a minor nobody temple, and big guys from Coruscant are here. It's like local sheriff versus the feds now. I thought that was interesting. Like his robes are kind of tattered and a little worn. Because he's more rough and tumble than the fancy folks.
Yes. So they're outside talking to him, and May's inside talking to Torben. Do you remember me, Torben? Confess your crime to the Jedi Council. I thought we were doing the right thing, is what Torben says.
Okay. He finally opens his eyes.
Yeah.
And acknowledges her. The first time he didn't even acknowledge her.
No, he finally acknowledges her, and she's given the choice of go confess or take this poison. And he takes the poison. So what the heck did these Jedis do?
Yeah, I mean, to take your own life, I mean, there's got to be something seriously wrong. Also, to go into meditation for 10 years and not get resolution.
Yeah.
I mean, how long does it take for you to forgive yourself, and confess and whatever you need to do to get over it? But he never got over it, and he just willingly took her poison and killed himself. So that's a little strange for me.
Sol was insistent that Torben would talk to him because they're friends, but he never gets the chance to.
Old friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Old friends.
There's some trickery involved in this scene. They're headed down the hallway, and Osha gets distracted by another vision.
Yes.
Of
May as a child.
May as a child, so she takes a different route. Somehow gets to the room in the most predictable fucking scene on the whole thing. Where she picks up the vial of poison, and she's leaning over the master, and then anybody comes in with their lightsabers, like, get away from there! And she's like, it's not what it looks like.
But Yord defends her and says, I don't think he's making it sound dumb. It's not.
It's super predictable scene.
Okay. So Osha is innocent. We're on the hunt for May.
Mm-hmm.
We're planning and come up with the plan to send Osha into the apothecary to talk to...
Hold on.
Okay.
Why? Why did we have to send her in to... Okay. Why did we stake out the shop? This is the plot. This is a plot point. I got a problem with this. They stake out the shop instead of just going into the front door. Why wouldn't they just go, let's just go check out the shop? This is dumb. They staked it out. And then the fat Jedi, there's a fat Jedi, by the way. The fat Jedi is, that's not our normal guy. And now we've got to come up with a secret plan to infiltrate and send her in. I'm like, they wouldn't do that. It doesn't make any sense. They would just go. They would walk in and be like, what's going on in here?
Would they?
They would.
But wouldn't that alert May to their Jedi presence?
They wouldn't know. They wouldn't know that was... No, it's nonsense. They staked it out.
Yeah.
And then made a plan. Nonsense.
Well, Yord had the opportunity to say a plan, and then that plan was dumb.
That was a dumb plan, too.
And so then Jackie was like, well, we should send Owen, because she looks like May, and he will confess to her his crimes.
Sure. It's just a dumb point. There's no reason for them to stake it out. They would have just gone in and investigated, because they're Jedi. They believe in themselves. They wouldn't be worried about alerting anybody about any fucking thing. They're already walking around in their robes in a street where they look out of place already.
But this gives them the upper hand, right?
Yeah, especially when the writer's on your side.
You said you wouldn't be too critical, and I feel like everything has been
I'm just picking out some things that I'm like, I don't want to let this slide.
Okay,
I like the show. I do. I'm enjoying the show. I'm just pointing out some things here and there.
Osha's really awkward in there. She's like, "Hi, hello."
Terrible.
She's terrible.
Yeah.
Kamir is like, "You killed Torben without poison. Master will be pleased." And then she's like, "Oh, no, I actually did use the poison." And then, we get a confession that he gave her the poison and all that stuff. And the Jedi. That's
why we needed to do the plan. So they have leverage. I'm sorry.
All right. This is where we find out that there's a list.
Yeah.
We don't know who the master is still, but we want revenge on 4 Jedi.
And Oshi names the Jedi. Because now she knows who they are. She's figured it out.
Yes. So there's only 2 left, right? It's just Sol and then the Wookiee.
Yes.
Who
we see at the end, but yeah.
So then we have a setup to catch May before she leaves the planet. Osha sees her in a speeder car.
Oh, but there's a whole fight scene.
Oh,
there's an hour-long kung fu fight.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I didn't write down the fight. I have nothing against the fights. I don't think they're too long, because there have definitely been longer fights.
There's definitely been longer fights.
I've definitely watched Marvel movies, and I'm like, do we have to keep fighting?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, when there's rules, of course, you get to fight all day.
So this is when she escapes because she blows the dust everywhere, right?
Yeah. So she uses the Force to blow the dust up in their eyes,
and she escapes. This
is a master, by the way. Okay, being defeated by it. Okay, go ahead.
I think she has evil on her side.
Yes, the dark side is very powerful, and it's unexpected, and so that's why he's taken off guard.
Oh, maybe he wanted her to escape.
I think everybody wanted her to escape. Okay. I think the writer wanted her to escape.
So OSHA shoots at her but misses. Yes.
Yeah, OSHA shot twice and missed both times.
Yeah.
With the stun field, which expands outward. So I don't know how she missed, but okay.
Yeah, Soul says to have faith in May. That's something he said. So I think he thinks that she can be.
Faith came up a few times.
Assimilated, yes.
Yeah. The word faith was in both episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
They bring up the world of Brendok, which is, I guess, where they lived 16 years ago. Wanted to kill 4 Jedi. It sounds like May started the fire that killed their parents.
Killed her parent? Yeah, their parents.
Yes.
But
so I'm very intrigued as why May is she like... has she been evil?
Has she always? Start? Yeah, has she always been under the influence of this?
Like that terrible movie, The Good Son, where he's terrible and tries to kill Elijah Wood.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Just
one.
Bad. Okay. Yes. Oh, and Soul also asks May why she's attacking with no weapons. And the Master is hiding his identity from May as well because he searches her mind.
And can't figure out who he is. Yeah. He says he's taken great pains to hide his identity from you. Mm-hmm. But I think that was that was an interesting question that you said just now, that you're attacking with no weapon. Mm-hmm. And that leads back to the philosophy of I'm going to just call him a Sith because I don't know what else to call him at this point. But the big bad said you can't use blades or lasers. It won't work on the Jedi. You have to defeat their philosophy.
And here we find out right after the fight. Sorry, I didn't get through all my notes in order. It doesn't matter. Okay. This is where we find out they both thought the other one was dead. So May thought O was dead, and they're like, "No, she's alive. See, she's right here."
During the fight, they tell May that her sister is still alive. Mm-hmm. And that's when I'm like, oh, the big bad's doing the dream stuff, not May. Okay, that's funny.
Yes. Kamir and May head to the Outer Rim to go look for the Wookiee Jedi on the peaceful planet of Kafan.
Wait, who goes to look for him?
I have Kamir and May.
Oh, okay. They're going to look for... Okay, because the Jedi get called back to Coruscant.
Because they need to discuss...
We got to talk about in committee.
Vernestra, whatever her name was.
Yeah. Yes. We don't do things like this.
Yes, we have to talk about our next move.
Yes.
Soul does not agree, but is sedated.
We're in hot pursuit. We don't have time to go back and discuss this in... committees?
Yes, and so Kamir and May, they're heading to the Outer Rim for the Wookiee Jedi on the planet of Kafan, and we end with 2 just random guys, and he encounter a Wookiee.
Yeah, he scares him off, and he seems like he's purposefully in hiding. Yeah, like he doesn't really want to be part of anything anymore, and so he's just kind of grumbling around the jungle.
Being meditative, yeah.
Yeah, although he was still very emotional. Like a Wookiee.
Yeah.
Not like a Jedi. But if he's a Jedi Master, I would think that he would have overcome his sort of more animalistic instincts. But maybe that's impossible for Wookiees. And so you can still be good and a Jedi, but still have that, rough kind of instinct.
Yeah.
I did pick on a lot of but that's just where my brain goes because I'm like,
and you watch way more movies and TVs than me, so that's I think why I'm not tired of some of these tropes that you're tired of people waking up suddenly.
The sudden wake up, the slow walk.
Yes.
Let's enter the room. Let's all 8 of us walk walking some strange
or the kung fu
single
fighting.
file, and kung fu is just nonsense.
I really rarely watch anything.
Kung fu, come on. If you got the Force, let me tell you what you do with the Force. You pick your opponent up and you fling them down on the ground as hard as you can. That's kung fu fighting as a Jedi.
I enjoyed this. I thought it was more interesting than Boba Fett.
Okay.
I can't remember all the things we've watched.
Well, we watched Mandalorian,
and that was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
the Obi-Wan series honestly didn't really stick in my memory very well, so it must not have had a big impact. And then Andor.
Andor's my favorite.
Oh wow!
Of all the series, the new series.
Maybe I need to rewatch it. I really just remember when he's on that prison ship, and there's really never no way out, and then they finally are able to escape, and that one guy can't swim, and
Gollum.
Yeah, and they just leave him there. Everybody else swims away.
Well, because everybody's rushing out to get. They can't do anything about it. So
everybody thinks that their time will eventually be up, but they're eventually just on a different floor. And I just remember thinking, oh, this is...
Andor brought the Empire to a point where you're like, oh, the Empire sucks. Oh, yeah, they're fucking evil.
So I'm enjoying this. It's playful. I researched all the actors beforehand, so I wouldn't be like, where are they from? Yeah. But really, nobody struck me as like, they're all from things I wasn't familiar with.
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Carrie-Anne Moss, yes. No, I know. Yeah. I'm just saying they weren't like, he was the third guard in this. That didn't really happen. Yeah. And I was very intrigued by the description it follows a Jedi investigation into a series of crimes. And I was like, ooh, it sounds like CSI for space.
I like that. I like that we're not, first of all, I like that we're 100 years in the past. Right, this is something that a lot of Star Wars fans have really been asking for. Is like, can we get away from the Star Wars, the Skywalker saga? Like, enough. Okay, we've seen all that. We've seen how everyone's parents and grandparents. Okay, okay, we get it. They're only going back 100 years, which means Yoda's still alive.
Only going back 100 years. Yeah,
but I was thinking back, what's different about 100 years from us today? This is 2024. If you go back to 1924, I don't know that we act significantly different. We have new technology, but we haven't drastically changed. And so I was thinking, okay, well, they don't act different. The characters on this show don't act that much different. The Jedi are a little stiffer, I think, than the Jedi we've seen. But
I think we've come a long way since 1924 for human rights and women's rights and stuff.
Oh, I mean, I'm just talking about it culturally, and how we talk and how we do things is not significantly different. There's some slang and stuff like that, and there's some different the ways that we treat different people.
We have a lot of more rights now.
That's here in America. Yes, things have definitely changed. I'm just saying, like, they weren't hitching up horses to wagons in 1920, 24. They had cars. They had airplanes. They had airplanes. Yeah. So it's not drastically different. And I think that they did a good job of showing that the Jedi are a little different. But the average people that they showed in the cities and the villages and stuff, they still kind of just act like what we've seen in Star Wars before. So I think they're doing a good job with this.
Well, and I figured things could be whatever they want it to be, since it's made up and it's Star Wars. Well, it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So,
yeah, I tell you what, I would have liked. I would have liked if it was 1,000 years before. That would have been that. I think that would have been more interesting to me. But this is only 100 years, so maybe they're going to tie into what?
No, I'm just smiling.
I think that there's going to be an arc to this that somehow ties into the events that we all know. Maybe not necessarily characters that we know, although, like I said, Yoda is alive in this period.
Yeah.
I don't know who else might be alive. The Emperor's... Droids could exist. I mean, the same droid models could still exist, so we could see some of those. But I was going to say maybe the Emperor's master, Darth Plagueis, could be here.
This Wookiee could be Chewie's father.
Okay. Let's hope we don't go down that road.
Why not?
Because we don't need to do the whole ancestry thing again. I'm sick of these. Just because they had one scene in Empire where I am your father. Now we've got to reveal everyone's father.
No, I would just like
who's
to know.
Your daddy?
I want to know Chewie's backstory. Maybe his mother died in childbirth. I don't know I don't know how they spawn.
Oh wait. Chewie's 100 years old.
Okay, well, the Wookiee's not Chewie though.
No, he's not.
Okay,
no,
I was like, I already know the character's name.
Yeah. He's not 100 years old. No, I mean Chewbacca is alive in this period.
Kelnaka is whatever it's done.
But he would have been really young.
The actor playing the Wookiee is the actor who took over for Chewie.
Yeah, the new guy. Yeah. I like him. He's a fun guy.
Yeah.
He's from Norway or Sweden or something.
Yeah, former basketball player. He's really tall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a good attitude about the role and doing good. So I think it's fun. It'll be fun to see him as a Jedi.
It's a big suit to fill, and he's doing it.
That's funny. All right, well, that's 2 episodes in the bag. So we'll be back next week with probably a shorter video. This was a double shot, so we'll go a little shorter next time. But thanks for watching, and
yes,
looking forward to more.
May the Force be with you.
Yes, and also with you. I hate that.